Welcome back, everybody. You are locked and loaded watching Testosterone Sports. Jeff Pearson, my best buddy, Jesse Logan, coming at you in charge.
Season number 5.
Fantasy football is here, and it's time to start getting ready, and that's why we're starting now. And we're going to jump right into some of the fantasy football information by discussing some target players and guys that you want to avoid. So.
Right, exactly, Jeff. When you're looking at your fantasy football draft board, it's hard to make sense of everything that's happened in the offseason, so we are here to help you navigate shark-infested waters. When you go into your fantasy league, you want to dominate. So you want to press your face up next to the screen right now, listen to the knowledge that we're about to drop for you here, and after the show, of course, go on to the website at testosteronesports.com. Meet up with us in the Fat Chat. We want to talk to you about your leagues, answer questions of yours, just hang out, get to know you a little bit. But with that said, Jeff, when a guy wants to dominate his fantasy league, he needs to target some specific players. So let me ask you right now, when you're targeting players, you want to get guys that are a great value where you're drafting them or for the amount of money you're paying them. Tell us which quarterback you're targeting heavily with a value mindset.
Well, now when I look at the mock drafts that are going on all around right now, that one guy that really jumps out to me is Drew Brees. Quarterback from the Saints. I think he's going to have a fantastic season. He's getting drafted number 4th of the quarterbacks overall, roughly, and he's going in about the 3rd or 4th round. So I really feel like you're getting a great value right there. I've never been a big proponent of going with the quarterback in my 1st or 2nd or even 3rd pick, and I think because Drew Brees didn't have the best season last year, his value isn't truly being shown forth in the mock drafting. So you're really getting a heck of a player, a 1st or 2nd round talent in the 4th round.
Yeah, and Brees is loaded with weapons around him. I mean, Reggie Bush catches the ball like crazy. Of course, Marcus Colston back in the fold this season, signed a new fat deal. I really like Robert Meacham, their young guy, up and coming, and they added Jeremy Shockey in the offseason. So, you know, Brees led the league in yardage last year. He might lead the league in yardage and touchdowns this year, but there is a guy, Tom Brady, who might have something to say about that.
Yeah, he will have something to say about that, but I'll tell you what, for my money, I'd rather take a running back in the 1st round, get Brees in the 3rd or 4th, and feel like I've got a better chance to succeed because I believe Brees can compete with Brady on a week-in and week-out basis, whereas the running back you're getting in the 4th round isn't going to be able to hold a candle to your 1st round running back.
Right, so a question that a lot of fantasy owners out there are faced with, Jeff, looking at their draft board, I mean, the top 2 picks, you can flip-flop them back and forth. Basically, Adrian Peterson and LaDainian Tomlinson. Having a hard time spitting that one out.
It's the preseason, dude.
Yeah.
It's all right.
But those 2 guys go 1-2. Then you got probably Brian Westbrook and Steven Jackson going off the board. So the number 5 pick is a really tough spot because those top 4 guys are kind of consensus. You know, you're looking at that 5 pick, who's available there, and what guys would you be targeting?
Well, you know, it really kind of depends. All leagues are different, and that's the way it is. So really, if I've got the 5 pick, I'm going to sit down and wait until my pick gets there and see who falls. If Steven Jackson falls to me there, I take him with glee. Same thing with Joseph Adai or Brian Westbrook. But in all likelihood, you're going to get one of the 3.
Right.
Feel really good about that. Those 3 guys are gone, and you're sitting at the 7 pick. Now you're thinking about, do I take Larry Johnson?
Right.
Do I take a guy like Clint Portis? Well, I think that you're going to be happiest with Marion Barber in that position.
Marion Barber is a player that really burst onto the scene last year with a big touchdown total. He had looked good in years past, but last year he stepped his fantasy game up to a whole new level. Now this year he is going to be the full-fledged starter in Dallas. Jeff, tell everybody at home why you think Marion Barber is going to be a stud.
Well, he's got a fantastic offense that he's working with. Tony Romo had a breakout season last year. They've got Terrell Owens, which is always nice to have. Big Jason Witten, who you're going to find is probably going as number 1 or number 2 at the tight end position. And with all those things in place, on also a great defense, I really feel like Marion Barber and the style of angry running that he plays with is going to have a fantastic season. You're getting a top-flight running back who I think will be in the top 5 next year's magazines. You're going to get him at 7 or 8, and you're going to be really happy all year long.
Okay, so Jeff, you've told the people out there in fantasy land who they should be targeting as far as value goes at a running back position and at a quarterback position. Any guys out there sticking out to you as a great value at the wide receiver position? Guys you're targeting.
Well, we definitely did touch on the Saints, and Marcus Colston is my number 1 targeted wide receiver. I'm a big believer in the Saints' ability to win the division this year, and as a fantasy player personally, I like to select the 5 or 6 teams who I think are going to be in the hunt for the playoffs and the division all year long because the expectations on that team are higher. The level of play and the bar is set higher for those teams, so they come ready to produce.
Right.
And if you have Marcus Colston, you're going to be a very happy player, and you can get him in the 4th and sometimes 5th round.
Right, so when people at home are listening to this, they might be saying, this guy just say Marcus Colston's his #1 wide receiver?
No.
Why don't you explain to them a little bit what you mean about targeted?
Well, essentially, Jesse, this target player concept comes from a fundamental disagreement that fantasy players have always had about what really is a sleeper. Okay, now a sleeper is a guy in most people's minds who has yet to really break out.
Right.
A la Brandon Marshall last year.
Right, somebody you never heard of who
Somebody
blows
you never really
up.
heard of, you know, Ryan Grant off the waiver wire, an Ernest Graham type. Well, I believe that in fantasy football, a sleeper is a guy that you can get who's going to produce at a higher level than where you take him.
Sure.
You're a 6th rounder who performs like a 3rd or a 2nd round pick. And so we came up with this concept of target players, guys that I'm going after. I'm not going to go after every player in the NFL. There will be some players in the NFL, a la 85, Chad Johnson. Someone else might win with him in my league. It's just not going to be me.
Right.
The risk is too high. I'll gladly let the guy in front of me take Chad, and I'll take Colston because I like his quarterback. I like his team's ability to win the ball. His defense is going to stop the run, and they're going to do a better job as a whole unit. Colston's got jets, baby. He's going to run down the field, score like 10 to 15 touchdowns this year.
One strategy I like to use in drafts is to eschew my quarterback position,
Yes.
not really worry about these elite guys spending a 2nd or 3rd or 4th rounder on one. Jeff, if a fantasy owner finds himself in a position where he's picking towards the latter part of the 1st round and he takes a couple wide receivers and then fills in his running backs in round 3 and 4 and he misses out on that top tier quarterbacks, what type of a quarterback would you be targeting late? Give me a name.
I got a couple names for you. I'm a big believer in what the San Diego Chargers are doing this year, and I love Phillip Rivers. And I know that people are a little bit down on him because he was a sleeper of the year candidate preseason last year, and he did not meet expectations.
Right.
Well, now LT's continuing to take that very slight step back, and as he relies more on his offense to get the points for the team, I really feel like it's the passing game that's going to step forward. I love their receiving core. They're young. They're led by Chris Chambers, consummate professional. I'm a big believer in what Vincent Jackson can do with the 6'5" size. And with another year in their offense, I think he's a potential breakout candidate. And with the way that Brees stepped up with the torn ACL in the playoff game against the Patriots, made me a firm believer. His decisions were smart,
right.
They were crisp, and his accuracy was right on. So I'm a big believer in him. And, the old gunslinger makes a great late-round guy,
Favre.
too. Brett Favre. And he's now one of our favorite players in the whole league.
Yeah, we love Brett Favre.
We're going to have to get a #4 jersey, I think, on this.
I love Brett Favre.
Love Brett Favre.
Isn't he awesome?
Yeah, Jets, Jets.
We love Favre. Now that he's
Love
not in the NFC North, he's one of my favorite quarterbacks.
Thank you, Packers, for trading your best player out of the conference. No longer do we have to worry about that. We need the horns back on this set, I think, just for Jet Favre.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we've talked to you a little bit about some players that you should be targeting. Right now, we want to talk to you a little bit about some players that you should avoid.
Definitely.
And one of the guys that I know I'm going to be avoiding, Jeff, some breaking news over the past week, a running back that was projected by many to be a top 10 or top 12 guy. I'm going like this. I'm stepping back from Willis McGahee. He's injured right now, and I think he's a guy fantasy owners should really avoid.
Well, and we've been, wanting to avoid him all preseason. And for me, it started when Jonathan Ogden retired. Ogden locked down the left tackle position from when he was drafted by the Ravens in the 1st round, like 1980
right.
or something like that. And their rushing game was fantastic. He was there, leading the way when Jamal Lewis put up 2,000 yards, and he's been a stalwart for them. Well, now he's been retired, and with this McGahee injury, I just say stay away, and honestly stay away from all Ravens. Please, junkies out there, stay away from the Ravens. If it's Heap, maybe. Are there any other Ravens you can go after?
I mean, Ray Rice is a decent sleeper as a very, very late round guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he has a chance to be starting in week 1 if McGahee doesn't come back from the surgery he just had. So, I mean, Ray Rice is a take a chance on me kind of guy, but you don't want to base your team around any Ravens.
Well, and honestly, no matter who's running the ball for that team with a very lackluster or really non-existent passing game, they're going to see 8 and 9 guys in the box. And not only that, but this division, this AFC North, has gotten considerably better defensively, especially against the run. The Browns made 2 amazing acquisitions this offseason by getting Big Sean Rogers from Detroit to play inside next to Corey Williams from the Packers. Thank you again, Pack, for sending him off. So they're going to stop the run like crazy, and it just makes me feel like the Ravens aren't going to find any room. So, and staying with the Browns, Jesse, I know you shared with me a player that you think might also be avoided here this year. Why don't you share with everybody else who that is?
Well, if you check out Adrenaline and you purchase it through our website at testosteronesports.com, you're going to see one of our bust players in that magazine, in that online edition, is Jamal Lewis. And Jamal, if you tend to look at the course of his career, he's kind of been one of those enigmas where one season he has this fantastic year, like his rookie season. He scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl and they won the Super Bowl. Then his second year he torched his knee and didn't carry the ball at all. His 2,000-yard season, he was fantastic, powering championships. And then the next year he finished with almost 1,000 yards less than he had before. So Jamal Lewis had a great season last year. He was working to try to get paid. Jeff, I'm not really convinced that he's going to be able to do that again.
Especially if you're having to make him your 3rd-round pick. So
right.
It is the truth that fantasy football championships are won on your running back game. I'm a big believer that the Falcons are going to have a really hard time running the ball for lack of passing offense. Jesse, are there any other running backs who you're really down on and wanting to avoid, wanting the junkies to avoid?
Well, as far as running backs goes, none are coming to the top of my mind right now, but there is a wide receiver that I'm definitely telling people to avoid like crazy this year. And if you heard us a couple weeks back on the WCCO radio show with Eric Nelson, thanks for having us on, Eric. I dropped this name on there as a guy to avoid. And for my money, I'm going to be staying away from the Packers passing game. And, Donald Driver, you might be able to get him as a value, but Greg Jennings is going as a number 1 or very early number 2 wide receiver. The guy averaged 1 touchdown per 4 catches. He didn't even have a 1,000-yard season. So what that tells me is that his numbers were a little bit bloated because Brett Favre was there. So I'm telling fantasy owners out there to avoid Greg Jennings if they possibly can.
Most definitely. You got to have a high-impact receiving game this season. And there are several players out there who are going to be a little bit bloated when their value when it comes time to pick. So you want to watch out for guys like that. And there's another group of guys like that, essentially anybody from the Bears or the Titans or the Jaguars. Don't go for any receivers on those teams. You can maybe nab a tight end or so off of some of those teams. Stay away from the Ravens guys as well.
Exactly.
It's also very important to have an exceptionally good field general, and you don't want to waste an earlier pick on getting a quarterback who just busts out for you and doesn't do anything for you. Jesse, are there any quarterback names you're definitely avoiding?
Yeah, I'm avoiding Mark Bulger this season. I mean, some people are projecting that he's going to come back to that 4,000-yard rarefied air. I just don't see it. Their offensive line, it still has some holes up front, so I'm not high on Bulger. But another guy that's getting taken as a number 1 guy that I'm avoiding in all formats is Derek Anderson. He's got Brady Quinn breathing down his neck in Cleveland. He had a fantastic breakout season last year. He got paid, but the Browns really didn't commit to him long term. So I am concerned that he could fall off a little bit. In the second half of last year, Jeff, he was not the same player. As I said before, he's got his own big shoes to fill from last year. And I just worry that people are taking him hoping for that same kind of production where he showed 5 touchdown in a game capability. He's loaded with weapons, but I just get the feeling that the Browns' tough schedule is going to catch up to both he and Jamal Lewis.
One player who I'm considerably down on for no real, for an obvious reason is Matt Hasselbeck. I really feel like they're going to have a hard time throwing the ball. He has his number 1 wide receiver is Nate Burleson, and we know just about what he can offer. And that's a nice return, but not the ability to lock down the number 1 receiving position. The rumor has it, right now they've got Deion Branch still battling an injury. They're going to rush him back a little bit. Their number 1 target was going to be 35-year-old Bobby Ingram. Well, the very first catch he had in the preseason,
What'd you say,
he took a hit. He took a hit from our defense and cracked his shoulder bone. So he's out now, and I don't believe necessarily that Julius Jones is going to be that good in the passing game to alleviate their want of wide receivers there. So don't expect 4,000 yards again out of Matt Hasselbeck. I think that their days as the number 1 team in that division are severely numbered. And to me, Arizona's knocking on the door.
Ooh. Well, if you're just joining us now, we welcome you. Testosterone Fantasy Sports in the house. Check out our online offering at testosteronesports.com. We'll be on that site directly after this show concludes, doing this thing we call the Fat Chat, where we hang out on there, talk to you about your favorite fantasy football players, what's going on in your draft, in your keeper league. We welcome you. Please come on the site. It is a live fantasy football chat at testosteronesports.com, going down right after this show concludes. So, Jeff, we've been talking in this last segment about guys that people should be targeting and guys people should be avoiding. One guy that was targeted real early last year was Larry Johnson, and fantasy owners got burned by him. He had an injury, and he just wasn't that productive player that we thought he'd be. Now, I'm sporting the LJ jersey on camera right now. You had a chance to talk to LJ personally. We're going to take a look at that footage here in just a second. Give the people at home just a quick nugget about what you think about LJ in 2008.
Well, I think that the defense in Kansas City is going to struggle a lot. They're really going to give a lot up early and often in games, so I fear that they're going to have to abandon the run considerably. Now, if they're smart, they'll keep Larry involved in the passing game, keep him going and motivated, because we know that when he gets taken out of the game, it frustrates him.
Right.
So they're going to be passing the ball a lot, I think. So I am concerned. He's a late first-round pick now. His talent definitely is better than that. So if you can get him in the second round, early second round, or late first,
all day long,
he's a good value.
Yeah, all day long. Take a look at him. He looks very sharp in his on-field drills.
On testosterone.
And he looks great on camera with us. So check it out, LJ, right here on TFS. Jeff and Jesse coming at you from River Falls, Wisconsin, and football is in the air tonight, Jeff. We are in the house about to watch a scrimmage between our favorite team, the Minnesota Vikings, and the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm excited to be here, man. It feels great.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what, it's the last day of July, and we've been waiting since the end of January to see live action in the NFL. Yep. So it's going to be some good hitting here between these two teams. Right now, you're getting a chance to take a look at some special team stuff that's going on. You know, these two teams aren't going to necessarily throw their best players out here. Jared Allen isn't here to participate in this event. I'm sure some of the Chiefs players are going to miss him a little bit, but at the same time, we get a chance to see how our offense is developing.
Right.
Tavares, how he's doing against another team's defense. One of the most important things going on for both these teams is the running games. We have Adrian Peterson, who's been taken number 1 or number 2 in almost all fantasy football formats. So why don't you talk just a little bit about what your feelings are as far as the prospect of Adrian, what he can do. I've seen him a couple times now. He looks like he's in midseason form, so it should mean big things.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's obviously going to be a top 2, 3, 4 pick in all fantasy drafts. I expect much of the same as last year. I'm sure Chester will get his fair share of carries as well, like he did last year, kind of split it up a little bit. But I am anxious to see how he looks on passing downs. It sounds like he's going to get a little more opportunity on those third downs, see how he pass blocks for the quarterback, and also see how well he catches the ball in the backfield.
On the other side of the field, we've got another top 5 talented running back in Larry Johnson. They're looking to get him going a little bit better than they did last year. Zach, talk a little bit about the fact that he's been primarily going at the end of the first round in most fantasy formats. Do you think that correlates into value for him this season if he can return to form?
That'll be definitely great value. I mean, he was hurt for much of last year. He had kind of an injury that he didn't really tell people about right away. So it's looking like he's coming back 100% healthy. I mean, he's a power back, and it sounds like the Chiefs they've upgraded their line, obviously, and Brody Corolla's going to his second year as a starter, and he's definitely looking to improve. And I think that whole offense will definitely improve over last year. Last year was just a miserable year for them, so he could definitely be a steal, especially get him at the end of the first round. If you can get him in the second round, great pick. Great pick.
I agree. Larry Johnson makes a pretty good value pick. So, well, we've got both teams down here, the Vikings and the Chiefs, and we've got our team down here as well, Testosterone Sports.
So this is the man. He's creating a chaos right here as the fans are pressing up to just get a glimpse at the wonder that is Adrian Peterson. He's a fantastic guy. I watched him the other day at practice after practice, signing for a bunch of guys that were there just in wheelchairs and taking in the practice. A fantastic player, but an even better person, Adrian Peterson, number 28.
Right here, man. You said that. That's okay.
Oklahoma ain't the same without Jay.
Hey, Larry.
Thank you so much.
Really sad. Hard too. Yeah, I know. All right. I'll never forget that.
Okay. I did all right. Limited, I was trying to get out there, but this scrimmage, this practice was, basically get some other guys, some young guys, some reps, because see how the guys look on film.
What about that move down on the far end, AP? That was insane.
Oh yeah, just try to make a play. Anytime I get the ball in my hand, I'm just trying to make a big play, get in the end zone.
Do what you do, man.
Oh yeah. All right.
So there we are, having a chance to talk with Adrian Peterson up close and personal, the guy with the magic smile. What a fantastic player, Vikes fans. We should be thrilled. He's in the fold, and he's going to be here for a long, long time.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. Sure. Good, man. Thanks, man.
All right, Testosterone Sports at training camp with Larry Johnson. Man, how you been feeling so far this preseason?
It's been feeling great. Foot injury healed up, so it's good to be out there having fun and kicking it around with guys that's not on your team, but it's still good to see another team coming in and practice against them.
Yep, some fresh faces on the offensive line, Larry. Why don't you talk a little bit about the development of the boys up front?
It's been great. Those two guys, all those 5 guys practice together. It's great to have those guys in, and a couple of runs that I didn't even get touched is a credit to them. And we got to just keep moving. This is just a stepping stone. More and more we get, acclimated with the offensive line and them with me, and we'll do great things.
Yeah, I noticed some nice holes opened up for you on the offensive line there. Talk a little bit about the Vikings defense and facing them and how that'll prepare you for the upcoming season.
It was good going against them. They were number 1 in the rush last year, which is real good to go against them and practice against them, and then do the things that we did, which is we'll say this, just a little small step as far as the right direction as far as season goes and things get going on, and this is a great step.
Considering Jared and the Williams boys weren't there, and I think Lieber wasn't there. A bunch of their starters weren't there, but it's still, it served its purpose. We went out there, we finally got to go against another team. I know a lot of guys on our team were thankful for that. And I like where we're at, but we got a long way to go.
Are you okay?
Yeah, just a little needed me.
Do you think the running game is a little ahead of the passing game?
It looks so far as though, from what I can tell in practice and today, it looked pretty good. But we look good in 7-on-7. Guys are getting open. A couple times in the red zone, I think we were able to get open. So we're catching up. It's all coming together.
Let's talk about the difference last year and this year. What's the big difference?
The biggest difference? I feel more comfortable. Definitely understand the offense better. The different defensive schemes I go up against, I understand those better. So it's a big difference.
So a rookie comes to camp, he has a lot to learn. A big jump from college to pros.
Oh yeah, it definitely is a tremendous jump. So my advice to the rookies is to stay in that book and spend extra time in that playbook.
I think you're going to see a lot of 8-man lines. I talked to Tony Tunji last week. He says, let 8-man line.
It's definitely possible. We got some good guys out wide. Just gonna make plays for us this year. And we got Tavares. He's taking strides every day.
What's your knee now? Is that 100%?
No, my knee is perfectly fine.
So you're looking forward to a big year?
God's willing, I guess.
How about the off season? That was busy, was it?
Oh yeah, it was busy, but I was able to wait things out.
Thank you.
Talk a little bit about your offensive line. Quick comment on just those guys blocking for you.
Oh man, I just fell into a good situation getting drafted here. Obviously, the offensive line we got is among the best.
2 more questions for you, then we're gonna go.
So I feel blessed to be, to have those guys in front of me, Matt Burke, Hutch, Brian McKinney, Herrera, Cook, all those guys that's contribute on the offensive line. So those guys do a good job.
Adrian, you licking your chops to A, deliver a blow to somebody else tomorrow, and B, just kind of being in more of a game format like that tomorrow against the Chiefs?
Oh yeah, but really it's to go in and get some work done. But definitely gonna be a different mentality since you're gonna get different guys. So you're gonna take it easy on those guys.
They may not forget what you did to them last year too. I think you put over 100 on them, didn't you?
I think so.
They caught Todd Law because he juked him out of his jockstrap, man.
I'm pretty sure it was more than that.
Okay, last question for Adrian.
Adrian, talk about signing all those autographs for all these kids, coming in, supporting your bikes yourself. Just talk about, giving back to the community, if you would call it that.
It feels good. I'm blessed to be in this position. I always dreamed about being in this position. So now I'm gonna enjoy it. And it's always good to get back to the fans. The people that support you. You got diehard Viking fans out here, people that bleed purple. It's really, big Viking fans. From tattoos to guys know what. So it feels good just to get back and sign autographs. Take the time out to sign an autograph for Silver fans.
Okay, so Jeff from Testosterone talking with one of our favorite players, Antoine Winfield. Antoine, you had a few days in pads now. How you feeling so far?
I feel pretty good. I think we're just completing our first week of training camp. It's getting a little warmer day by day, but we're working each day to get better.
Yeah, well, I can tell you guys are working hard out there for Coach Leslie Frazier. Right now we've got a couple of new additions to the defense. Could we first just talk about real quickly Madu Williams and what's he going to bring to the unit?
This I think is Madee's 6th year in the league, so he's a veteran. He's played the safety position, started a lot of games for Cincinnati the last couple of years. A lot of veteran leadership. He has great ball skills, great speed, so he's able to get sideline to sideline.
Yep. Last season we got passed on a lot, and so during the offseason here we brought in Big Jared Allen to play defensive end. How do you think that's going to affect you guys as a secondary unit?
It's a beautiful thing for us. Anytime you get a DN coming off the edge, getting after the quarterback, doesn't give him that much time to go through a second and third read. So looking for big numbers out of him this year.
Excellent, excellent. So I see you're carrying your pads, man. You got to go find Terrell to carry your pads for you.
I think they're out there still at work. You see them over in the corner right there. So
yeah, that's right.
Got to get out here and get my lift in.
Awesome, awesome. All right, well, thanks a lot for coming out, man. Appreciate it. Good luck to you, dude.